You're watching The Last Word. The Telugu actor Allu Arjun has been granted interim bail by the Telangana High Court following his arrest linked to a tragic stampede at the Pushpa 2 premiere in Hyderabad, which resulted in one woman's death last week. Arjun, along with the theatre's management and his security team, were charged over the incident. This has sparked a broader discussion on celebrity responsibility and the necessity for better event management. Arjun has publicly expressed his sorrow and pledged financial support for the victim's family. The big questions: the theatre had previously notified the police about the celebrity's appearance. The theatre management had requested additional security arrangements from the police. Is there a possibility that the police are shifting responsibility onto the actor?
I am not his counsel. That said, Allu Arjun also has been granted interim bail for a period of four weeks. He shall be executing a personal bond of rupees 50,000 with the superintendent of jail at Chanchalguda, and thereafter he'll be enlarged on bail.
నా కొడుకు మూవీ చూస్తా అంటే ఆ రోజు సంధ్యా థియేటర్లో మూవీకి తీసుకెళ్ళాను. మూవీ చూస్తా అంటేనే తీసుకెళ్ళాను. అక్కడ అల్లు అర్జున్ వచ్చినందుకు ఆయన తప్పేం లేదు. మేమేమైనా ఉంటే దానికి కేసు విత్డ్రా చేసుకోనికి రెడీ ఉన్నా. అది న్యూస్ కూడా నాకు పోలీస్ వాళ్ళు ఏమి ఇన్ఫామ్ చేయలేదు అరెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నట్టు. నేను ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్లో చూసిన, హాస్పిటల్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు మొబైల్ చూసిన ఇట్లా అల్లు అర్జున్ అరెస్ట్ అయ్యాడని. అల్లు అర్జున్కి అయితే ఏం సంబంధం లేదు వచ్చినందుకు. ఏమైనా ఉంటే నేను కేసు విత్డ్రా చేసుకోనికే రెడీ ఉన్నాను.
आई फील जो सेफ्टी प्रोटोकॉल्स है वो हर चीज एक एक्टर सिर्फ अपने ऊपर नहीं ले सकता है. वी कैन टेल पीपल अराउंड अस, जैसे कि हम लोग अभी मैं इसी की बात कर सकता हूँ. सिनेपोलिस ने बहुत अच्छा प्रबंध किया है यहाँ पे, एंड वी आर ग्रेटफुल टू देम ऑन दैट. एंड जो हादसा हुआ है वो बहुत दर्दनाक है. वेरी सॉरी, सेंड माई कंडोलेंसेस. बट एट द सेम टाइम आई थिंक जो आप ब्लेम है सिर्फ एक इंसान पे नहीं डाल सकते.
भगदड़ मच गई, एक आदमी की मौत हो गई, लोग घायल हो गए. अब इसमें एक्टर का क्या कसूर है? थिएटर की जिम्मेदारी जो है थिएटर के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की, वो तो एक्टर के हाथ में नहीं है. अगर भगदड़ मची है तो उस क्राउड को कंट्रोल करना तो एक्टर का काम नहीं है. अब अगर यही वजह है गिरफ्तारी की, तो ये वजह मेरी समझ से बाहर है.
Well, let me go across to my colleague Uma Sudhir, who's been tracking this very closely. Uma, is the actor out of jail? Because there was this entire process of him, interim bail has been granted, but is he physically free now?
Not yet, Vishnu, but it may be just a matter of time, because he had already been sent to judicial custody by the Nampally court. When after he reached the court is when the orders of the High Court came, in which it was said that he is being granted interim bail and therefore he can be released and need not be kept in jail. And then the understanding was that the bond would be submitted to the jail superintendent, and that process we are told is underway. So as of now, he is not out.
Uma, earlier on in the day, we saw a letter, and you reported about a letter from the management of this particular theatre saying that they had asked for police protection. What exactly did the letter say? Because the counter argument, which we were discussing earlier on, was that it didn't have specific details. So what, on the other hand, does the letter say?
So this letter, dated 2nd of December, was issued by the theatre authorities, and it was addressed to the ACP of that area. And the letter specifically said that ahead of the release of Pushpa 2, there will be premiere shows that will be held at 9:30 a.m. on December 4 at Sandhya Theatre, and also 4 other shows that will happen on December 5. All these were special shows with hiked up rates of the tickets as well. And the police was requested in that letter to provide for additional security, because they were expecting not just actor Allu Arjun, but also the female lead of the film, Rashmika Mandana, and also several other people from the film. And therefore the security was asked for, and the copy that has been shared with us does show a stamp of the police there, and therefore it is an acknowledgement that the police did know about it. But subsequently the police have issued a very detailed clarification note in which they say that while they had given the letter to the police station, no one had come and met the police and nor informed the commissioner. In court, in fact, the prosecutor mentioned that they were advised not to have Allu Arjun coming to the show. He also said that no one had met the commissioner, even though they were advised that they must go and meet the commissioner to get any express permissions. The detailed note that's been given by the police also mentions 3 other things. They said despite all that, they did provide security there and all was going well till Allu Arjun arrived there, and he had stayed on for a very long period, and he had been asked to go away, move away from there, and that he had not listened to advice. The second thing that they say is that the security team that came along with Allu Arjun actually pushed the people to the side. It's not a very broad road, I must say. It's a crossroad at which the theatre is there. Multiple theatres are there, and there's a very fast-moving traffic in that area. And the security ring of Allu Arjun is said to have pushed people away, because of which there was a crowding towards the end and towards the lower area, where in fact the fatal accident in fact happened. The other thing that they mentioned is that he continued to stay in the theatre despite being told not to do so. He was there for 2 hours watching the film. And the other glaring incident that they point out is that he had opened the rooftop of the car and had emerged from it, and that had added to the frenzy of the crowds. All this, the police believes, has made Allu Arjun more culpable in this entire episode. They have also explained that there is no misbehavior on the part of the police when they meant to arrest him at his residence in Jubilee Hills. There has been talk of high-handedness on the part of the police, and they say that Allu Arjun had requested that he would like to change his clothes and that he was allowed, after which the police had escorted him out of his residence here at Jubilee Hills in Hyderabad.
Well, joining us now, Uma, thanks very much for sharing all of those details. We are now joined by L. Ravi Shankar, the film critic and senior advocate, A.K. Jain, former senior police officer. We're joined also by Dr. Satya Kumar, an advocate in the Supreme Court. Dr. Kumar, let me come to you first. Is there any logic in your mind that the actor in this particular case, Allu Arjun, should have been arrested in the first place?
First thing is that the arrest was actually unnecessary, considering the fact that Allu Arjun is a citizen in the first place, where taking adequate steps for the protection of anybody who comes to the theatre is the responsibility of the theatre and not the actor. Point number 1. Point number 2, in spite of the fact that the state has actually filed a case on him, he had all the rights to apply for a bail, and there was a high-handedness with respect to remanding him, knowing well he's a celebrity, and definitely this adds up to the seems to be like a political vendetta. So people will understand it as a political vendetta. Third, by the way, most of the time you see police arresting people only on a Friday, and Allu Arjun is not an exception to this matter. Now, on a Friday evening, you see even a celebrity actor is getting arrested. So state has again said they are powerful and arresting him on a Friday is there is an intention, because Saturday, Sunday he could have been under detention, considering the fact that the courts may not be working on the day. Luckily, or rather, on the advice of the Allu Arjun's counsel, I think Allu Arjun moved the quash petition in the afternoon itself, and he has got an interim bail. And of course, the government GP, I could see from the argument, government side, prosecution side, there were advocates appearing, and they made a point that this arrest is not illegal. As usual, in any kind of arrest, they make this kind of submission. It's a usual submission that we can see, even the Allu Arjun's case. But the point to be noted is that he applying legally, if you see, Allu Arjun has been on a war footing basis with respect to applying for his legal remedy. That is what every common citizen should understand, that he has applied for a quash. At the same time, he was also remanded, but now he's been he has to be he should be physically out by this time. But the question is, the prison will be closed by 6 o'clock. So how is it going to happen is the next question.
No, because he's not out at the moment. Hold on for 1 second. Let me go across to Mr. Ravi Chandar. Sir, do you believe that there was some sort of vendetta against him personally? Because, again, if there is a letter written by the management of the theatre saying, look, he's going to be over here, it could have been a problem in implementation of additional police, perhaps something procedural, but how is he responsible in all of this?
Yeah, 2 things. First, I don't think it's personal vendetta. I think it's a classic case of finding a scapegoat when things get too hot. Secondly, while we are blaming the police, while we are blaming the police for the manner in which the arrest was made, I'd like to move the debate a little away from the police and ask, why did the magistrate remand him to custody? The Supreme Court repeatedly ad nauseum has said, bail is the rule, jail is the exception. Justice Sridevi in her order found that one of the offences alone to which he may have an attributed connection is one of negligence, for which the punishment is less than 7 years. Therefore, the judgment which required prior notice for inquiry was imperative. Did this miss the sight of a judge who hears criminal cases for bail every day? Why is it that judges do not understand that bail is the rule, jail is the exception? If that was granted, all this drama would not have happened. Umar gave us a detailed story on how the state government looks at it. Now, I don't agree on many points that the state government has said, but that is a right, just as Allu has a right to his defense. I think the police are trying to find a scapegoat on the one hand, and they have their typical bureaucratic, strategic, knee-jerk answers to all these issues.
Okay.
But what is the independent judiciary doing? How on a case like this was he
I just
remanded
put that
to
across to
judicial
Mr. A.K.
custody?
Jain. Mr. Jain, the fact that this is interim bail, it's not been quashed per se. It's interim bail. The case has not been dismissed. Does it indicate to you that the state intends to pursue the case against him?
They might pursue. They might pursue. I think they are going to pursue it. Although he himself had offered rupees 25 lakhs for as compensation, and he had apologized for over the incident. One young fan of Allu has also been injured, and he is undergoing treatment. I am happy that his father has come out with a statement that he is prepared to withdraw the case, and he should in fact withdraw the case. But the way Allu Arjun has been arrested, I agree with the speakers that it is not done at all. It is not actually vendetta. I agree with the film critic that he is just being made a scapegoat, and he is being put behind bars. Although police is responsible, police should have made arrangements. They should have made proper bandobast. And if they were expecting Allu Arjun that taking a stand that management people, theatre people didn't inform police, it is not possible at all. When so much of crowd is there, when Allu Arjun is coming, they must have informed, and police bandobast should have been there. And I don't think, I am told that Allu Arjun was on first floor when the incident took place on the ground. So how can he be held responsible? Suppose his security had thrown people, had pushed people, and at that time Stampede would have taken place, then I can agree to some extent. But I am told that he was on the first floor when incident took place outside the theatre. We know about the crowd in South, what is the behavior of the crowd in South when such movies are released. So police should have made arrangements, and police is responsible for it. And I think he is being unnecessarily made a scapegoat and nothing else.
All right. Let me go across to Shehzad Khan, the actor. Mr. Khan, do you believe that, I mean, obviously as a celebrity you have to be responsible. There's no two ways about that. But do you believe that in this particular case that, there was little that Allu Arjun could do to prevent this situation? I mean, it's a closed area. There were fans. They were reaching out to him. I mean, that's what happens anywhere in the world. Certainly happens in India. Was there anything that he could have done differently?
Thank you very much for having me on your show. Yes, I totally agree with you that entire blame cannot be put on Allu Arjun himself, because what can an actor do when he's surrounded by fans and by the people who adore him, people who love him? They just go crazy. They go in a different high altogether when they see the actor whom they idolize, they worship, like kind of a worship. So you cannot totally blame Allu Arjun. It is the theatre people who should be held responsible, and of course the security over there should have been more beefed up. I think they took it very, very casually They took the whole thing very casually. And I think till the time we don't hear the matter in the court, hearing goes on in the court, then only we will be able to decide whether whose fault it is or who's to be blamed for this entire thing. Just by putting the pressure or by arresting Allu Arjun, it doesn't make him into a convict or doesn't prove that he is wrong. It is his fate. Let the hearing start. Let the matter go in the court. And then we can always see what happens. The court is the best place to decide whose fault is it, whether it is the police or whether it's the theatre owner or whether it's Allu Arjun's bodyguards or whomsoever it is. But one thing is very much I must say that the police has acted very prompt and very promptly, and I really appreciate that. And I really wish that in all other matters also, the police should act promptly, just not because Allu Arjun is a super duper star. I would not say superstar, but a super duper star of India. The other places also, the police should be as prompt as they showed in this, and let the court decide. It's too early. We can only debate and we can share our views regarding whose fault is it anyway. And one of my panelists whom I heard on the panel that there's some jungle things also going on. Then I saw this similar kind of thing had happened in 2017 with Shah Rukh Khan also, when he was going for the promotion of Rais in a train to Delhi. Mm-hmm. So these things, it's not for the first time that has happened. This does happen, and it's a very, very sad thing. A life has been lost. My heartfelt condolences to the person, his family who has lost a son, who has lost a mother, a man who's lost a husband, a brother who's lost a sister. My heartfelt condolences to them. And let's wait and let's not jump into conclusions. Let's not start battering the police or or anybody for that.
Got it, sir. Let me just go across to Dr. Satya Kumar. Now, here's the flip side. According to the police, the letter to the police by the management of the theatre didn't have specific details. That there was the question marks about the no objection certificate itself, whether it was properly issued and formatted, that apparently Allu Arjun stayed on for too long, and that his private security pushed people. Do you see this as potential grounds to justify his arrest?
Police at any day, providing an NOC, they take their own time. And definitely Allu Arjun should have been skeptical about it. But at the end of the day, theatre people should have taken entire responsibility. See, based on law of tort, the theatre is solely responsible because, as I said, Allu Arjun is also yet another citizen. If he is entering a theatre, or anybody for that matter, if they enter, it is the responsibility of the theatre owners and theatre to take care of the adequate safety measures. If there is no adequate safety measures, they should have intimated that it is fatal to the people whoever is coming to the theatre, or they should have cancelled it, as simple as that, because they know very well the show is happening and it's going to be crowded. So accordingly, they should have intimated and had an abundant caution with respect to their show. So here, just blaming Allu Arjun for his presence cannot be held as there is no malafide intention, or even there is no negligence, because I was seeing that other panelists mentioning that he was in the first floor. So he was in the first floor sitting there. How can an incident that happened in his absence, he will be held responsible? So let's assume there's a theatre nearby his home, maybe for example 1 kilometer away, for example, and people go to his show and he's staying in his home. Just because Allu Arjun is just 1 kilometer or half a kilometer or next door, he cannot be held responsible. He was in the first floor. So according to law of tort, or according to the criminal liability, there is no malafide intention in the first place, and there is no actus reus from his side. So considering it, you can't hold any citizen for that matter, not just Allu Arjun. I'm not speaking for Allu Arjun alone. For that matter, any citizen. Today, many YouTubers go to the cinema hall. Many celebrities go to the cinema hall. Even some famous bureaucrats go to the cinema hall. Yeah. Politicians go to the cinema hall. Crowd can act anyway. When there is a first show, when you know there is a crowd, it is the responsibility of the state to provide adequate care.
I just wanted to quickly...
citizen. I'm not even asking about Allu Arjun.
Right, Dr. Kumar, I get it. Mr. Ravichandran, you had
one more important point.
Just 1 second. I want to just rotate the strike a little bit.
Supreme Court time and again has said, liberty is a norm, deprivation is an exception. Bail is a norm, jail
Sure.
is an exception, and definitely the interim bail provided by the High Court has to be hailed.
Got it. Mr. Ravichandran, you had a point to make. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, two things. Now, this theory about the police not knowing is to be poo-pooed summarily. Please tell me this. Are the police saying they didn't know that there's going to be a crowd at a theatre which tickets were sold for 100 crores 24 hours before? Are they saying that they don't know that an Allu Arjun film in the vicinity is going to get a crowd more than what the theatre capacity is? Are they saying, now I find a contradiction in their statement that they did not meet the police commissioner, but the police commissioner told them some XYZ. Now, if they didn't meet, where did he say this? Where is the record that the commissioner said all this to them and did not grant permission to the theatre? Who granted the police, who granted the theatre permission for an extra show at 9 a.m.? The government. Who now, if the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing,
Exactly.
God help the government. So for which you're not going to blame the actor who is a promotional agent. Everybody wants to see success of his own. Tomorrow, if Allu Arjun is having a wedding at his family, he's definitely going in there.
Yes.
The police are expected to know that there's going to be a celebrity coming around the place. And if there's a celebrity of this hue and this color, there is going to be a possibility of a stampede, and you have to work your way. You cannot say, I was caught unawares. That is exactly why I said Allu Arjun is being made a scapegoat, and it's not new. You know, film stars today are soft targets. You don't like a film, you don't like their stance, from advising them to leave the country to having them arrested is the easiest thing you can do.
Right.
The government
Well, I
can
think
tomorrow
this
say,
entire
"We have
issue does
to
raise so many important questions. And, you know, I mean, why an arrest when there are so many more important critical cases? What about the freedom of an individual in a case like this? Was it not the police's responsibility to ensure something like this didn't happen? We'll move on from this to another big topic today in today's debate on the 75th anniversary of the Constitution's adoption in the Lok Sabha. The Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra delivered her maiden speech, criticizing the BJP-led government for allegedly weakening the Constitution. She emphasized the Constitution as a Suraksha Kavach or protective shield, arguing that the BJP has attempted to undermine this protective role over the last decade through policies like lateral entry and privatization. Priyanka also addressed the Unnao rape case and the Sambhal violence in a speech, highlighting the Constitution's role in ensuring justice for the marginalized. The debate saw participation from both sides, with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh initiating the discussion, critiquing the opposition's narrative. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to reply to the debate tomorrow.
विपक्ष के कई नेता संविधान की प्रति अपनी जेब में रखकर घूमते हैं। असल में उन्होंने बचपन से ही यही सीखा है। उन्होंने पीढ़ियों से अपने परिवार में संविधान को जेब में ही रखे थे। लेकिन अध्यक्ष महोदय, भारतीय जनता पार्टी संविधान को सिर माथे पर लगाती है। मैं आज यह स्पष्ट करना चाहता हूं अध्यक्ष महोदय कि हमारा संविधान किसी एक पार्टी की देन नहीं है। भारत का संविधान भारत के लोगों के द्वारा, भारत के विचारों के साथ, भारत के मूल्यों के अनुरूप बनाया गया एक अनपैरेलल्ड ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव यह डॉक्यूमेंट है। हमारा संविधान प्रोग्रेसिव है, प्रगतिशील है, समावेशी है।
अध्यक्ष महोदय जी, ये सरकार आर्थिक न्याय का सुरक्षा कवच तोड़ रही है। आज संसद में बैठी ये सरकार बेरोजगारी और महंगाई से जूझ रही हमारी जनता को क्या राहत दे रही है। कृषि के कानून भी बड़े बड़े उद्योगपतियों के लिए बन रहे हैं। सही एमएसपी को छोड़िए, डीएपी तक नहीं मिल रहा है। संविधान में सामाजिक, आर्थिक और राजनीतिक न्याय का वादा है। ये वादा एक सुरक्षा कवच है जिसको तोड़ने का काम शुरू हो चुका है। लैटरल एंट्री और निजीकरण के जरिए ये सरकार आरक्षण को कमजोर करने का काम कर रही है। अगर लोकसभा में ये नतीजे नहीं आए होते तो ये संविधान बदलने का काम भी शुरू कर लेते सच्चाई ये है अध्यक्ष महोदय कि आज संविधान बार बार इसलिए कह रहे हैं क्योंकि इस चुनाव में इनको पता चल गया कि इस देश की जनता ही इस संविधान को सुरक्षित रखेगी, कि इस चुनाव में हारते जीतने से इन्हें एहसास हुआ कि ये संविधान बदलने की बात इस देश में नहीं चलेगी।
ये अध्यक्ष महोदय कैसी चर्चा संविधान की जो है बिना प्रधान की। अध्यक्ष महोदय, इस सरकार में जो लोकतंत्र के साथ खिलवाड़ हुआ है, इतना कभी खिलवाड़ नहीं हुई होगी। संविधान को परतंत्र बनाकर जो लोग राज करना चाहते हैं, उनके लिए आज़ादी का अमृतकाल सिर्फ एक जुमला है। संविधान को बचाने के लिए एक और करो या मरो आंदोलन की जरूरत है। इसलिए अध्यक्ष महोदय, हम आपको भरोसा दिलाते हैं, पिछले चुनाव में भी बहुत सारे सत्ता पक्ष के माननीय लोग ये कहते थे कि हमें इतनी सीटें मिल जाएंगी तो हम संविधान बदल देंगे। अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आपके माध्यम से जनता का धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं कि उन्होंने 400 पार के नारे को गिरा दिया और विपक्ष को इतनी ताकत दे दी कि इनकी जो सपना था संविधान बदलने को, सपने को तोड़ने का काम किया।
इस संविधान के प्रति जितनी जिम्मेदारी सत्तारूढ़ दल की है, जितनी जिम्मेदारी सरकार की है, इस संविधान के प्रति उतनी ही जिम्मेदारी प्रतिपक्ष की है। आज जो सदन के संविधान की बात करते हैं, संविधान के आरक्षण की बात करते हैं, मैं देखता हूं कि जब सत्र चल रहा है तो सदन में उपस्थित रहने के बजाय कभी हाथरस जा रहे हैं, कभी संभल जा रहे हैं। ये कितना संवैधानिक दायित्व का निर्वहन कर रहे हैं, कदाचित पूरा देश देख रहा है कि शायद ये संविधान की।
The Prime Minister has tweeted following his visit to Prayagraj ahead of the Mahakumbh 2025. We're going to take a short break. There's more coming up.